god.
Oh my god.
So we are talking about the movie The DOOMS Chapel Horror, a 2016 movie directed by John William Holt and stars Bill Osbert Jr., Austin Madding and Abby Murphy. Now the story here basically focuses on a young man called Kyle Cole, and basically we see at the beginning of the movie there's a prologue. He's a young lad and there's an accident and his older brother is killed. His older brother is adored by this kind of small American town, and Kyle is kind of ostracised, it seems, by the kind of the townsfolk, and basically blamed kind of for the cause of death for his older brother. And we learn throughout the movie a variety of stuff happens to him because of that, and he's basically tries to get away and goes to the kind of the city. 10 years later, he's kind of back with his kind of girlfriend and this guy who's making a documentary about it. So the film is kind of part found footage, or 95% found footage. And basically, as he kind of returns back to this kind of small town, strange things start to happen. We find out there's this kind of mysterious cult and a kind of charismatic kind of cult leader, and things are not kind of normal, and there's a variety of deaths that kind of soon happen that may be the cause of him, or it could be something else. It could be some kind of creature that's lurking in the woods. You'll have to watch the movie to find out. So that's all I'll say about the plot of this movie. So like I said, this is I guess you would class it as a found footage film. The majority of this film is shot as if it was making a documentary. As I've mentioned, we have this guy who's basically filming the whole event, so a lot of it is shot like it would have been scenes from that documentary as such. And there are a few things like footage from body cams or kind of security cameras and stuff like that, but there are one or two shots which seem to be not found footage as well, which I didn't really understand why they were there. If you're going to have a found footage film, I feel it should be all found footage, not really have these just kind of shots of, well, who's filming this? There's no one there. So we will talk about the good and the bad of the DOOMS Chapel Horror. This is definitely, I would say, a throwback movie to maybe the films of maybe the 70s and 80s. It very much reminds me of The Wicker Man. It definitely has that kind of feel to it, that kind of gritty, sort of dark realism, that kind of pagan-y cult type thing. So if you're a fan of The Wicker Man, you may want to check this one out. The big thing for me with this film, I thought this was incredibly well acted and very well cast as well. I'd go hand in hand with that. I really felt like pretty much all of the cast members, as we get to the end of the film, I have some problems maybe with kind of the acting, but 95% of the acting here, I would say, is excellent. Everyone really sells their roles. I mean, like I said, it's perfectly cast. The brothers, for example, really look like brothers, and they're not related. I had to double check that. So everyone, he sells the part, from the kind of the guys in the cult to the kind of the cameraman, to the people that they played extras, just kind of playing these kind of like typical hicks and stuff like that. Everyone is fantastically cast, and I have to say the acting is fantastic. But there's a kind of an inherent problem. The way it's shot is in a lot of this is from found footage, so we kind of see these kind of conversations that seem to happen on the fly, and because of that I feel some of the dialogue is lost because people are kind of, they're not talking towards the camera and stuff like that. So sometimes I found it very difficult to make out what people were saying. Sometimes it's kind of the style of the filmmaking, I suppose, but there could have been dialogue that might have been important that I may have missed because I couldn't quite make out what was going on. So the other thing as well, this is a slow burn film. This is, I guess you would call it a creature feature. There is a creature in this, but we don't see a lot of it, so don't be expecting a kind of too much in regards to kind of effects. But I feel right up until the movie, it's kind of the presence is felt. There's definitely a kind of impending sense of dread here, and this kind of this growing feeling of the unknown and the unpredictability that might happen from this kind of situations that we find these people in. So I really did like that as well. Where it fell apart for me a little bit, I have to say, was the ending. I thought the ending was kind of let the film down a little bit. People seemed to be taking dumb pills and were not reacting to stuff in a kind of a logical and realistic way. People were seemingly standing around just waiting to get killed, which I thought was a bit silly. The creature effects itself, the creature effects on screen are minimal, which I think is definitely to its benefit. Although there is one shot where it kind of looks, we kind of get, I guess, the best look at the creature, and you can kind of tell it's really just a stop motion effect. But like I said, the actual creature effects are minimal. So for the most part, I kind of like the effects. I have a couple of problems with the found footage formula of it. Because this is filmed in the style of this guy's making a documentary, there is a continuity problem on that. I can't really go into it, that kind of a spoiler, but you understand if you think about this person's making this film as a documentary, and then when you watch the film as a whole, there is a continuity issue with that. And like I said, I didn't like the way also that there was kind of some shots where I think, who is holding this camera? And this is a small town USA. This place is filled with security cams and stuff like that. I mean, I live in the UK, which is apparently the most videoed country in the world, and we don't have as many cameras as this. And this is kind of like a rural town in the Midwest of America somewhere. So I kind of had maybe a little bit of an issue with the amount of kind of cameras that were around here. It kind of seemed a little bit excessive to what this kind of place would realistically be. But that's more of a nitpick than anything else. The main gripes I have is I feel the ending was a little weak, and like I said, there's just a couple of kind of like minor nitpicks here and there, but overall it's a solid creepy film that's well made, well acted, and for the most part well executed. So I'll give this movie a 7 out of 10. I think it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you're kind of more of an old school horror fan. But if you do want something a little bit more fast paced, and this might not be for the film for you. It is kind of a bit of a slow burn, but I think it's definitely an interesting watch. And if you're a fan of that, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, what you thought of it. If you didn't like it, let me know, leave me a comment. 7 out of 10 for me. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.